Hello everyone and welcome to Space Slog, a new upcoming space survival adventure management game where you take control of a destitute crew of a space wreck and rebuild humanity on your ship. This game shares a lot of similarities with Rimworld, including its startup, where you can see we have the Harmony start and our different difficulty settings. Further on, we get to pick from 3 colonists that each have their own traits and their own stories and skills. Very interesting indeed. So you can see here, this is where we start off. We kind of just have a whole lot of nothing. If we go up here to zones, we can create a temporary stockpile just outside of our block of a ship, which is pretty much a sky block start. And what this temporary stockpile does is it allows us to put all of the things that we're going to gather in this initial starting sector and dump it right here, because we don't have an official stockpile yet. I'm very pleased that we have some ship debris right here. We're going to be able to get titanium and silicon from these. But what I want to do before I do anything else, just like we always do in Rimworld, is I want to go through here from the people that we just selected, and I want to have someone equip the pistol. And we will need those for food, because I've not really found a new source of food other than these, other than growing food. But getting to the point of growing food, I've usually run out of food. I'll tell you now, I've done a few runs of this game and consistently have been dead. I've been dead and I've died. So we're going to start off by destroying some ship debris, gathering some ice, and let's see, there's a titanium asteroid over here. And we're going to let everyone just do that first. And when they break that, we're actually going to expand this temporary stockpile a bit. And then here is our building menu. Here within the building menu, we can build ship structure, deck plating, doors, power supply things, oxygen generators and stuff. Right now, what we want is we want to expand our ship structure a bit as we get titanium, so we can get some more room in here and we can add this thing called life support that we are going to need quite a lot of. Well, not a lot of, just one, but we'll be dead without it anyway, so we need to get that done. I'm going to go ahead and pause real quick, because we do actually like doing an ice sheet challenge in Rimworld. Time is of the essence, our food supply is waning, and it's not really renewing, so we need to make sure that every second of everything we do counts for as much as it can count for. So we're going to check all these different asteroids out here, and we're not in a huge desperate need of silicon right now as much as we are in need of titanium. And so we're going to tear apart all the ship debris we can find, but we're also going to be on the lookout for titanium. I think that's enough queued up for now. Let's let these folks get to work. You see we have 5 ice right here. I will show you what we're going to do with that in a little bit. So Griffin is already right away tearing down that ship debris, and Edwin is also getting the ship debris. Right now there isn't much of an animation. It kind of just wiggles, it jiggles. And that's how you know that they'd be sleeping. Right now you can see we're missing an air source and no one has a place to sleep. And you can see we also have about 46 meals on the deck right now. That's about it. And we got 600 coins, which shows you that trading is a thing, as we wanted to show you before. This is a space worm. They're a bit dangerous. They can kill you, but you can also kill them and eat them. We have this thing over here called the barrel, and we can click here to open up the orders tab, which will allow us to turn ice into water we can drink, ice and berries into wine we can drink, and if we are so lucky to have aeroponics, we could be getting plants and make vegetable broth. But in this case, we want to get lots and lots of dead worms so we can turn it into meat broth. Now, I made sure we got someone with 8 ranged ability to start out with. That way we would have a solid chance of getting what we need out of everybody here. We're going to click on the crew tab here, and you guys might recognize this menu a bit. It's pretty similar to things that we all know and love. This is the jobs tab. Right now, we can see the importance of the different tasks. We also have the schedule. And right now, I think that people should just sleep when they are tired. I will schedule 1 hour of sleep, so there's a point where they're triggered to sleep. But I want 6 straight hours of work all at once when they can. They just chew through all the food so fast, and all the water too. Will he get it? No, he didn't get it in time. So, who is the best at melee? You are. So we're going to send you to get that, and we want you to... No, I don't want you to do that. I want you to kill it, and I want you to run away from it. And everybody killed it. And if we look at everyone's health, we have some superficial bruise and small bites. The issue here that I found is that they'll just keep bleeding until they die, but we only have 3 med kits. So I'm going to forbid those, and we're going to do an experiment here together. We're going to see if they can stop bleeding on their own. And a ship has appeared, the Straczynski. We don't know if that's a pirate ship or a friendly ship or really what it could be. It's hard to say. We're going to go ahead and schedule the butchering of the space worm so that it can be made into foodstuffs. And you can see we got 75 space worm raw meat and some raw leather. Before we would get like 3 meats from this. So this is new. This is a lot. I am very pleased with this. I think our chances of being dead are very much improved. So much so that I am going to schedule them to start making food in the barrel. We might have a chance here. This is looking good for us. It looks like it did get what it needed, which means each space worm gives us 2 barrel cooks. And how much is the barrel going to give us of prepared foods when we do this? 7. So you can see we can make 7 meals at a time. It kind of takes a while to turn it into food. Yeah, it kind of just, it can never stop. It can never be stopped from working. So we're going to go ahead and expand this here. This area is the inside of the ship. Putting deck plating on whole ship structure lets us expand the inside of the ship if there's space. Once we've done that, we're going to go ahead and put a small generator up here. All right, and that's done. So we're going to go ahead and build a small generator right here. Next to that, we're going to build a life support. And next to that, we're going to build an air ventilator. So this is going to make power. This is going to turn ice, into breathable air. And this vent is going to blow the air out into the cabin here so we can breathe. So I'm going to do that. And also connect this to our transponder. And then I'm also going to connect it to our small thruster down here, but I'm going to disable the power for that because we're not leaving yet. And then I'm going to put some atmospheric ducting from our air creator into this vent here. And with that, everybody should be right at work, making sure that they have breathable air. And so this here is going to use these here fuel cells to generate power for the ship. It's a finite resource. We only have 6 fuel cells. Each fuel cell lasts 7 days. When we're out, we'll have no more power and we will be dead. We won't be able to move the ship anymore. It'll be about as treacherous of a problem to have as you could believe. It would lead to us being dead. So what we could do instead is build solar panels on the ship to generate power for us when we're out and about. So these are our big things that we're chasing. We need a constant supply of ice to make drinkable water and to make air we can breathe. We need to eventually get our hands on seeds so we can grow food for ourselves so we don't die. And then we also need a decent supply of fuel cells, keep the power on. But in our case, that's not really possible, so we need to build solar panels all over the ship so that when we park next to a star, we'll have energy. The other problem is these medical kits, which we can't really make at the moment, at least not in this version of the game. And that will lead to us being dead pretty fast if we keep running into trouble. All right, so they're all off digging away. I'm gonna go ahead and expand this here and this here. And so that's done, and what we can do now is tell them to turn the rest of this into space inside the ship that we can utilize. And it's done. So here's what we're going to do next. We need to build our comms console so we can do this thing called communication. And I'm going to put it right there. So now, that took a while. It took a while, and I had to micromanage it a bit to make it actually happen quickly. But we get to move our stockpile inside now. And this temporary stockpile we have outside, we can just delete that and let them haul everything inside. And so while this thruster is on, our burn meter is going to charge up. When it reaches 100%, we'll be able to jump to the next star system. We'll be able to start space traveling. And we're going to begin our burn, which means we are now traveling in space. The ship is moving forward, as you can see. And we'll get little notifications up here on the top right when we're passing over things or we're near things. Someone somehow sat the food outside. We can still do stuff while we are in the ship like this. It's like we can power up the doors, we can power up the solar panels. You can see they're not really generating any power at the moment. Eventually, we want to be able to sit by stars and charge up large swaths of batteries. So like right here, we are over a water planet. Not really useful to us. We're going to go ahead and go to furniture here and see if we can make ourselves like a sleeping spot right here. It could take a really long time to get to like a shipwreck or an asteroid field or something like that. So it's really important to keep on the move and make sure that you really pile up resources. So far right now we're food stable, but we are not stable in ice. We got our last block of ice in the oxygen maker, so we do need to get to an asteroid field soon so that we can mine up some ice. And we only have 4 fuel cells left too. Looks like we are getting all of our power from these solar panels right now, but we don't have batteries, so it would be a bad idea to just leave it off. What we could do here is if we had space for it, we can try, see if we can craft a battery right here. Gotta be wary of pirates in the area. Titanium wreckage would be really great right about now, but the biggest issue is that we have to keep going because we need ice. This game is, I should mention, this game is very early access, so a lot of features just aren't available yet. This isn't a finished game. A lot of this stuff we're just gonna have to wait on to develop as time goes by, but today we are definitely gonna show you as much as it has to offer. Going by a wreckage again, but once again we need to get our hands on ice and ore, so we can't be stopping. The reason we can't stop is because we have to fill our burn meter every time. So kind of like with grav ships in Rimworld, when you stop you can't just immediately take off again. Probably going to be forced to stop even though we don't really want to, just to grab what we can grab, because there's a little bit of food outside of the ship that we need to get our mitts on. Maybe we can find some little bit of asteroids. It doesn't look like that. So we're going to make everybody work. Everybody's going to take back as much stuff as they can, and we're going to let them save their sleeping time for when we are back on the move. Might not be hostile, so we're going to go ahead and power up our comms here, and it looks like it is pirates again. And it was a successful bribe, so we can see that they have some stock of things that they're selling here. They're not, they don't have anything to sell us. They have people for sale. We don't really want to buy people. What we'd like to buy is their stuff, but they just don't have any stuff. So this was a waste. It's very unfortunate, but it's the luck of the draw. We don't know how long we have to burn for again before we can find resources again, so we will have to just pick up everything we can find. We're going to send this one over here to wait with the other one while the work gets done. They've snapped. Dazed and confused. We have been pushing ourselves pretty darn hard. We'll turn our comms on for just a moment. It's neutral. They'll let us trade with them. They got rice seeds. They've got rice, which we want. We can build they got railgun slug rounds and stuff. That's wild. For now, though, we do want the rice seeds, all 20 of them, so we can try to grow our own rice. They're selling another barrel, which would be awesome to get our hands on. We just can't afford it right now. And we don't have anything we can afford to sell either. So we'll trade for those rice seeds. We have a lot of survival meals left, so we're going to have to hold out on growing our rice until we get our hands on some ice that we can turn into water. But we can go ahead and schedule some sleeping spots here and the construction of an additional battery. Probably even another one after that if we have the resources for it. What I'm expecting that we're going to need to do here in the future is that we're just going to need to have these solar panels all around the edges to generate way more power than we actually need to use at any given time, just so that we can rapidly charge batteries. And then we'll just need such massive power stores. So like, let me turn this off and see how quick we lose power. And there we go. Oh, but it's only for a moment. So much power generation all at once though. Definitely need to keep expanding it. The life support has run out of fuel. That's pretty bad. Hopefully our plants don't die. And just like that, we've reached the end of the content the game has for us. I'd like to thank everybody that watched this video. Space Slog will be coming out to early access on Steam later this month. If you guys like the video, you can find the link in the description down below to support the developer. They're making this game all on their own, and every wish list helps. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.